And as many millions of Muslims across the globe celebrate the days prior to Eid, many are unaware of the oppressions and the betrayals which occurred on such days. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the individual who was sent as a symbol of peace by his cousin, but yet later on was betrayed by his own people. His exact name is our identity. Muslim ibn Aqeel. Who is he? We always hear in majalis, we hear in gatherings this name, Muslim ibn Aqeel, but do we really know enough about him? Do we know? We only hear in his martyrdom. We don't hear about his birth, nor his parents, nor his wife, nor his children. But tonight, we are joined with a very special guest, Sayyid Ammar Nakshawani, who has joined us once again live from the holy city of Karbala to talk about the life of Muslim ibn Aqeel. Sayyidina, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Rahmatullah. Very well, thank you, very well.
Now, Sayyidina, why are there so little written in biographies about the life of Muslim ibn Aqeel?
First and foremost, our condolences to the whole Muslim Ummah on the martyrdom of Muslim ibn Aqeel, that great personality from the family of the Prophet, peace be upon his family. And it's interesting that you mentioned there's so little written about his biography, even within our own circles. As in, when I was doing my research to look for biographies on Muslim ibn Aqeel in Arabic or in English or in Farsi or in Urdu, you'll find there's very little written about him. And indeed, when one looks at the martyrs of the 10th of Muharram, or those who were living in and around the event of the 10th of Muharram, Ashura, and what took place at Karbala, you find there's very few books which have been written about their biographies. Now, this could be for a number of reasons. Either because we seem to be a school which is very much focused on texts on law and theology, with very little focus on texts and history. You find that while we have produced some wonderful historians, in the last 50 years, one may look at the likes of, for example, Sayyid Sharaf al-Din al-Musawi, the likes of Sharif Baqir al-Qarashi, the likes of Allama Murtada al-Askari, Sheikh Ahmed al-Wa'ili, amongst others who have been wonderful historians. But really you find that many of our books tend to focus on theology, on aqaid, or on fiqh and a deeper understanding of the legal system. So maybe there needs to be more of a drive to produce works of a historical nature so that people are able to reflect on what took place in early Islamic history. But then when you're looking at the primary sources, it does beg the question that why is there so little information on the likes of Habib bin Madahir or Muslim bin Awsaja, Muslim bin Aqeel, Maytham al-Tammar, Mukhtar al-Thaqafi. And I think when you look at the word history, if you break it down into two, it's his story. His story. The person who's writing history tends to be the victor. They're not going to necessarily provide you with a lot of praise or a lot of understanding of the biographies of personalities who stood up against them. If the Umayyads or the Abbasids wrote about history and that early period, they're not exactly going to reminisce about the greatness of Muslim ibn Aqeel, who stood up, let's say, against the Umayyad Caliph of his time, Yazid. Also, we had great amounts of literature about the lives of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam and about the biographies of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, which sadly ended up in libraries that were burnt. Sheikh al-Tusi, may Allah bless his soul, had one of the most magnificent libraries anyone could ever have. Within that library, you had wonderful manuscripts that could have been used until today. You had works from the Imams or the companions of the Imams that sadly we only have references to today. Or for example, one may allude to in a certain secondary source. But you find that in those libraries, the libraries of the likes of Sheikh al-Tusi, we had works which would have discussed the Imams, the companions of the Imams, the lives of the Imams. And when that library is a library that is burnt, it's very hard to then get back those wonderful sources of treasure. Remember, Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, an orphan is not one without a mother or father, an orphan is one without literature. And we really have been a society, especially within the school of Ahlul Bayt, who have been orphans because of the fact that much of our great literature, which would have spoken about Muslim bin Aqeel, Ammar bin Hamaq al-Khuza'i, Rushad al-Hajari, for example, Hujr bin Adi, many of the great biographies of these personalities are missing. And so when it comes to Muslim bin Aqeel, there should be more of a push for us to write a biography. I still think that there is the ability to write about Muslim's father, to write about Muslim's mother, to write about Muslim's family in terms of his wife and kids, to write about Muslim and the quotes related to Muslim, to write about Muslim spirituality, to write about Muslim sacrifice and valor, to write about Muslims' trustworthiness. You can still write a good biography. But it is sad when our sons or our daughters or our friends ask that where could I find a good book on Muslim bin Aqeel, and you find yourself struggling to find the text.
Nowhere to be found. And Sayyidina, we'll get to his father and his relatives. But a question that always rises in my mind, what it is mentioned about Muslim ibn Aqeel, we always mention him in Muharram, on his martyrdom. Today, on his martyrdom. And the thing is, not a lot of people do know about that today is his martyrdom. They always remember him in Muharram. But when was he born? Do you know? And what were circumstances was he born under?
Well, Muslim bin Aqeel, according to my research, you're looking at the fact that he's born in and around the same time as Imam al-Hassan and Imam al-Hussein alayhim as-salam.
So same age?
You're looking at around the same age.
Okay.
You find that the 3rd year after Hijrah would not be too far-fetched a guess in terms of looking at the narratives that talk about his relationship with Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. So I would say that born in the 3rd year after Hijrah, and dies in the 60th year after Hijrah. Again, very similar age to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, who was born in the 4th year after Hijrah and died in the 61st year after Hijrah.
Now there are many debates regarding his father. Now some claim that he was a mu'min, and then they go all the way to munafiq. Now what's the reason behind the debate? How do you come to understand that?
Yes, Aqeel, son of Abu Talib, is a very interesting figure, Muslim's father. Because, first and foremost, whenever you're going to discuss the brother of a ma'soom, the brother of an imam, the brother of an infallible, you're always going to compare him to the ma'soom brother. And that I don't think is fair. You know, when you're looking at Abu Talib had 4 sons. The eldest was who? Talib,
yes.
Then
Ja'far.
Aqeel,
okay.
Then Ja'far.
And then Ali.
And then Ali. Always try and remember their names or their order Taja. Talib, Aqeel, Ja'far, and Imam Ali.
Taja, okay.
You say there's about 10 years difference between each. And Abu Talib has 2 daughters, Jumana and Fakhita. So Abu Talib in total has how many children? 6. Each one of them has their own trait, but none of them has the perfection of Ali. But each one of them has their wonderful traits. Like Ja'far, son of Abu Talib, you want to look at spirituality, there's none like him. There's a prayer called Salat Ja'far al-Tayyar. That is a prayer with immense benefits in the school of Ahlul Bayt. You have someone like Aqeel, when you're comparing him to Ja'far and Imam Ali alayhi salam, then yes, they'll never reach their levels. But does that mean that he is then called a hypocrite or called a disbeliever? I wouldn't necessarily say he submits to the religion of Islam as early as his brothers. But nor would I say is he an open enemy of the religion of Islam at all. There's a hadith of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family. He says, Ya Aqeel, inni uhibbuka hubbain.
Okay.
Hubban laka wa hubban li hubbi ammi Abi Talibin iyak.
Wow, 2 loves.
وإن ولدك لمقتول في نصرة ولدي الحسين عليه السلام. Listen to what is this beautiful statement from the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, his family, about Muslim's father, Aqeel. Oh Aqeel, I love you for 2 reasons, 2 loves. حبا لك, a love for who you are. وحبا لحب عمي, Abu Talib.
His uncle.
And I love you because of the love of my uncle towards you. which shows us the iman of Abu Talib.
Yes.
That whoever Abu Talib loves, Rasulullah loves. Whoever Abu Talib hates, Rasulullah hates. But then that final line, وَإِنَّ وَلَدَكَ لَمَقْتُولٌ فِي نُصْرَةِ وَلَدِيَ الْحُسَيْنِ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ. You have a son who will die supporting my son Hussein alayhi salam. Now notice, the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, his family, highlights that he loves Aqeel. And he loves him not just because of his character, but because when he sees his uncle loves someone, he loves them. Aqeel is the one who helped Imam Ali get married twice.
Yes.
The first time, he's the one who pushed Imam Ali to set the wedding date with Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. Imam Ali was a bit shy from the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, that okay, Fatima's accepted me for marriage, but how do I go and tell my father-in-law that can we set the wedding date? And I think a few of us may be in that situation at one point or another where you're like, okay, can you guys agree on when the wedding is? So you have, with Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam, Aqeel
Yes.
helps Imam Ali. And then Aqeel used to sit in the mosque of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family in Medina. He used to place a prayer mat in front of him. If you wanted to know about the genealogies or the ancestries of anyone,
Yeah.
you'd come and ask who?
Aqeel.
Aqeel. So for example, you come to Aqeel, you say, listen Aqeel, I want to marry the most beautiful girl in Medina. Find me a family who the girls who are within that family are always stunning. Tells you, come back to me in a month, I'll tell you. Does his research here, there, coming back. Aqeel, I want to marry someone who, for example, their family are known for their generosity. Her ancestors are known for their generosity. He tells you, come back in a month, I'll tell you. Say, Aqeel, I want to marry someone whose ancestors are known for their bravery. Who did that happen with?
Fatima bint
Hazam. Because when Imam Ali alayhi salam, when Fatima Zahra died,
Yeah.
Imam married, for example, Asma bint Umays. Imam married Khawla bin Ja'far. And then Imam wanted to marry this lady who would give him valiant, brave sons.
Yes.
So he came to his brother Aqeel. He said to him, oh Aqeel, find for me a lady whose ancestors are known as the bravest warriors. Aqeel said to him, come back to me within a month. When the Imam returned, Aqeel said to him, I have found you a lady. Do you want to hear the names of her ancestors? So he said, go ahead. He said, Ammar bin Sa'sa'a. Ammar bin Sa'sa'a is the type of personality, you know, if you see a wild animal, you'll run away. He used to run after the wild animal.
Whoa, okay.
Now I don't want to mess with that guy. He said to him, okay, who else? He said, Mula'ab al-Asinna, you know?
Al-Asinna.
Yeah. So he said to him, yeah. He said, that's one of the bravest warriors in the past of the Arabs. When he began to list them, Imam Ali alayhi salam knew, okay, whoever this lady is going to be, she's going to have some of the most bravest sons. Who do her sons turn out to be?
Abbas.
The sons of al-Baneen.
al-Baneen, yes.
The four sons of al-Baneen. Here we are next to one of her sons.
Yes. The bravest.
Where better than to be next to Abu al-Fadl?
Allah.
But she gave four sons. So Aqeel has an instrumental role in helping Imam Ali alayhi salam get married. Now, someone will say, Sayyidina, listen, you've mentioned the positives.
No.
But you know there's a lingering doubt about Aqeel and his relationship with Muawiyah.
Yes.
Because there's this incident which is narrated that Aqeel seems to have fallen into a certain debt. When he's fallen into debt, he now goes to see his brother Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. And he says to him, give me some money. Imam Ali says, how much is the debt? Some mention 100,000. Imam says, when I get my salary, I promise I'll give you. He said, give me from the treasury of the Muslims, it's in your hands now.
Wow.
It's like someone whose brother's a bank manager. Says to him, listen, give me some money from the safe. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, that's the money of the Muslims. And you know how diligent Imam Ali is alayhi salam with every penny.
Yeah.
You know the famous story with Talha and Zubair.
The candle.
The candle, when they came to see him.
Yeah.
What issue do you have? They said, we have a private issue.
He
He blew out the candle and put another one there.
Wow.
They said to him, why did you just do that? He said, that first candle was purchased from the money of the Muslims. You've come to see me over your private issue. I have to put a candle I put from my own money.
Wow.
Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam would do sujood in every area of the treasury warehouse to say that, oh earth, be a witness to me that I have not taken a penny back to me.
Wow.
How many countries in the world do you know the government putting in their pockets? And yet you find,
if not all,
that Imam Ali alayhi salam wanted to highlight that true leadership is that the people feel your justice, and they feel your trustworthiness, and they feel your truthfulness. So with Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says to him, you want me to take out from treasury? The narration, some attribute and describe that Imam puts his brother's hand on the fire and Aqeel removes his hand. And the Imam says to him, what's wrong? He says, my hand's going to burn. He said, you're worried about that fire. And how about the fire of the Day of Judgment when you take from that money? Now I must admit, I'm always hesitant when I read certain attacks on your Aqeels, on your Ibrahim bin Malik al-Ashtars, on your Mukhtar al-Thaqafis, because there's, as I said, history is his story. It's written by the emperors, the Umayyads, the Abbasids. There's certain companions or members of the household, they want to attack. But does he go and see Muawiyah? So they say that he goes to see Muawiyah.
So he does.
When he goes to see Muawiyah, the interesting part of the issue with Muawiyah is how he concludes it. Muawiyah does this big event for Aqeel, Muslim's father.
Yes.
When he does this event, and you know, he's proud, he thinks, I've won one on Ali. Ali's brother's here next to me. What happens is that he's sitting, Amr ibn al-As is sitting, and there's a whole group of them. Muawiyah says, Aqeel, you're the master of the genealogies. I want to ask you about some of our ancestors. Aqeel says, go ahead. He said, I want to ask you about Amr ibn al-As. What's his family tree like? Aqeel said 6 different people claimed they were the father of Amr ibn al-As.
Wow.
Amr ibn al-As' mother had a certain job. This is pre-Islam, where she used to have a red flag outside her house and many men used to enter. And so he asked them, how did you guys find out who the father was of Amr ibn al-As? He said, oh, there were 6 different names in a bowl, so people pulled one out. It came out Al-As bin Wa'il, they called him Amr ibn al-As. That's why I always say, Surah Al-Kawthar, إِنَّا أَعْطَيْنَاكَ
الكوثر
فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ
وانحر
إِنَّ شَانِئَكَ هُوَ الْأَبْتَرُ. Al-As bin Wa'il used to always make fun of Rasulullah, calling him Abtar, Abtar. Abtar is the Arabic for an animal whose tail is cut off. So he used to say, making fun of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, istihza. Quran says at the end, إِنَّا كَفَيْنَاكَ الْمُسْتَهْزِئِينَ. But at the beginning there was a lot of istihza. He used to make fun of Rasulullah, says, Abtar, Abtar, your line is cut off, your kids die young. Remember, Rasulullah's boys would die.
Yes.
Allah gave him Kawthar, and the symbol of Kawthar is Fatima, alayhi salam. That until today the children of Fatima flourish. But the Quran said it's his line that's cut off. Al-As bin Wa'il was saying, you don't have a lineage. It turns out that you don't have a lineage. That's not your boy. You and 5 others went into this lady's house. Who knows? We don't have DNA tests anymore. At that time, we have now. So then Muawiyah says, how about my ancestry? So he says to him, go and ask Arabia what your grandma's job was, then you'll know.
Wow.
At this moment,
Straight dissing.
Muawiyah replied with an interesting reply. Muawiyah said, Aqeel, how's your uncle Abu Lahab doing in Jahannam? Aqeel's uncle is Abu Lahab, Abu Talib's brother.
Yes.
The reply Aqeel gives is phenomenal. He says he's with your auntie Jamil, Imra'atahu Hammalat al-Hatab. Abu Lahab's wife Jamil is Abu Sufyan's sister, so she's Muawiyah's aunt. So when Muawiyah tried to mock Aqeel saying, how's your uncle doing in Jahannam?
Wow.
He replied to him, He's enjoying Jahannam with your aunt Jamil. And you know very well that the rider is always in charge of that which is ridden.
Yes.
So then Muawiyah says, we're honored that you've come to us. Aqeel says, when I want to look for the hereafter, I only go to my brother. And if I want to look for the dunya and the mundane is when I come to people like you. Don't compare yourself to my brother. My brother guides to akhirah, whereas you guide to the mundane dunya and nothing more.
Wow.
Therefore, I'm not going to say Aqeel is an Ali. He's not a Ja'far.
Of course he's not.
But nor will we ever go to the other extent of saying that Aqeel is someone who's an enemy of Ahlul Bayt or who had hatred of Ahlul Bayt. Wallah, Al-Aqeel at Karbala. Who gave away sons like Al-Aqeel? The tent of Al-Aqeel. And here we are in Karbala and the Mukhayyam is near us.
Yes.
Who gave away? The Mukhayyam, the Khaymagar, you will see.
Yeah.
How many of the tents, Al-Aqeel's tent, Al-Ja'far's tent, the sons of Aqeel gave their life, the grandsons of Aqeel gave their life away. It's not a basic sadaqah jariyah. It's not basic.
It's not.
It's not something for a person to dismiss and say, well, Aqeel is not ma'soom. So for a person to imagine his whole life, no, there's going to be decisions which are made which he regrets. But to compare him to a ma'soom is not fair.
Of course not. I mean, now, if we want to get to the early years of Muslim ibn Aqeel, his son, I know we talked a lot about father, and it's amazing how, you know, to clear some misconceptions that are raised about his father. Now, the early years of Muslim ibn Aqeel, they're not mentioned. They're very vague when they're mentioned. And the tough times, did he help Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib during tough times, battles when he was in power?
No doubt, if you're looking at the most difficult times for Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, Muslim was one of his greatest supporters.
Why isn't he mentioned?
He's mentioned, like if you're looking at the annals of the Battle of Siffin, he's clearly mentioned.
Okay.
And he's not just a nephew, he's as ferocious a warrior as Imam al-Hussein. That's a level. When Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam sends you as his Safir to Kufa, you can't be some weakling.
Yeah.
You got to be tough on the inside, tough on the out, but with a humility that's godly.
That's rare.
When he says قد بعثت إليكم أخي وابن عمي وثقتي من أهل بيتي.
Wow.
ثقتي من أهل بيتي highlights that this person's so trustworthy.
Yeah.
But the trustworthiness was not displayed first with Imam al-Hussein, with Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam first saw this at the Battle of Siffin, where Muslim at that battle was about 33 years of age, but his performance, 34 years of age, his performance was unbelievable. That was a difficult battle. Jamal was difficult. But Imam al-Hussein, Imam al-Hassan, Muslim bin Aqeel, Hani bin Urwa, Muslim bin Awsaja,
Who we later on here.
Maytham Tammar, Kumail bin Ziyad.
Yeah.
A lot of these personalities, some made it to Karbala, some died before Karbala, some died after Karbala. Their performances alongside Imam Ali, and who better to train you in terms of the battlefield than a man who, in my own research, no samurai warrior has had as many one-on-one victories as what Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam had in his battles. If you look at the battles of Imam Ali, just to mention a few, Badr, Uhud, Khandaq, Khaybar, Hunayn, Jamal, Siffin, Nahrawan, Dhat al-Salasil. There are battles Ali ibn Abi Talib has annihilated the opposition single-handedly. Now, if you're training under a master samurai, and that's an understatement, like Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, who's like a wolf, he has eyes on the back of his head, then you'd expect Muslim and the likes to be ferocious. But the beautiful thing about them is they're not just at a battle. When the time for prayer comes, they're the first to pray. When it's time to supplicate, they're the first to supplicate. And that's something I always tell people, that when you hear about Karbala, don't just look at the physical macho man image that we all want to have. You want to be a true Husseini, you want to be a true lover of Ahlul Bayt, Salah is just as important as the battlefield, if not more. Don't be someone who says, I love Muslim ibn Aqeel, Wallah, I'm so sad with what happened to Muslim ibn Aqeel and the treachery, and you don't pray. Then you've not understood Muslim ibn Aqeel.
Yeah.
Muslim ibn Aqeel, when Imam al-Hussein says, ثِقَتِي مِنْ أَهْلِ بَيْتِي, when Imam al-Hussein is called Safir al-Hussein, ثِقَة al-Islam, such a person is a person, because of his spirituality, such strength emerges. Therefore, when we're looking at the battles of Imam Ali alayhi salam, Muslim definitely is at the forefront.
Sayyidina, let's take a short break before we continue our discussion. So respective viewers, do stay tuned, for we'll take a short break and we'll be back shortly to continue on the biography of Muslim ibn Aqeel.
Brothers and sisters, we're standing right now next to Masjid Acaba, which is the first masjid that was established in Islam by the Holy Prophet ﷺ. This mosque falls about 5 kilometers south of Medina, although now it's included part of the expansion of the holy city of Medina. But initially it was about 5 kilometers south of the city of Medina. When the Prophet ﷺ arrived in Medina and built his holy mosque there, he used to encourage the Muslims to come out to Quba and pray here. And hence he said to them that anyone who does wudu in his house and comes to Quba and prays 2 rak'at salat, he gets a thawab equivalent to a umrah. And now we are standing by this holy mosque of Quba, Masjid Quba, which is the first mosque that was established in Islam. Of course, what we see today is the expansion of this masjid and the rebuilding of it as well. الله أكبر.
سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده وصلى على محمد وآل محمد.
الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة. الله أكبر.
سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إنك قلت وقولك الحق في كتابك المنزل على صدر نبيك المرسل لمسجد أسس على التقوى من أول يوم أحق أن تقوم فيه رجال يحبون أن يتطهروا والله يحب المطهرين. اللهم طهر قلوبنا من النفاق وأعمالنا من الرياء وفروجنا من الزنا وألسنتنا من الكذب والغيبة وأعيننا من الخيانة فإنك تعلم خائنة الأعين وما تخفي الصدور. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. وصل اللهم على محمد وآله الطاهرين.
Dear viewers, welcome back. Hope you inshallah enjoyed that short report. We are back live from the holy city of Karbala, and our very special guest, Sayyid Ammar Nakshawani, who has joined us once again in Late Night Talk. Sayyidina, welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, before the break, we talked about various aspects within the life of Muslim ibn Aqeel, and we mentioned the misconceptions that have been raised regarding his father. And we got to the point where Imam al-Hussein is telling the people of Kufa that I've sent you my brother, my cousin, and a person who I really trust from my household. And we left it at that.
Yes, as I mentioned, the way Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam describes him highlights to us the balance that's needed in the character of a Muslim. As
Yes.
in, when you ask him, did he participate in battles? He's as ferocious a warrior as Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Imam al-Hussein
Yes.
knows, if I go to Karbala and I have Hani bin Urwa, I have Mukhtar al-Thaqafi, I have Muslim bin Awsaja, and I have the likes of Muslim ibn Aqeel, I have nothing to worry about. Because these people, their CVs are all Jamal and Safin. It's like you were with one great warrior and now you're with his son. But like I said, at the same time, in his youth, he's known for being a person who is a worshipper of the Lord, reciter of the Quran, memorizer of the Quran. So that balance is very important. Imam al-Hussein doesn't say to the people of Kufa, you know, قَدْ بَعَثْتُ إِلَيْكُمْ أَخِي وَابْنَ عَمِّي, and for example, the strongest person I know, ثِقَتي. What's a Muslim except his trustworthiness?
Exactly.
On all honesty.
Yeah.
There are many out there who you'll find who'll talk the talk but not trustworthy. When he's saying that this man is thiqa, he means that I grew up with him and I can tell you that put your full trust in him, you will find no one better.
And his words are my words, as Imam Hussein would
doubt.
say. And now, Sayyidina, what were the situation when we come to Mecca, when we come to Medina, when we come to Kufa, during the times of Yazid? What was the situation back then?
Well, Muawiyah had just passed away, and Muawiyah had warned Yazid that there are certain personalities who are alive, who are sons of famous companions you have to be aware of. Abdullah, son of Umar ibn al-Khattab.
Okay.
Abdul Rahman, son of Abu Bakr.
Okay.
Abdullah ibn al-Zubair. And Hussein, son of Ali, son of Abu Talib. It's as if Muawiyah is telling him that these four have the most influence. And if you're going to find a threat, Hussein bin Ali is the one to beware of. Now when Yazid gets in, Yazid's reputation hitherto that point is pretty atrocious.
Yeah.
Yazid's dad publicly is of course a Muslim. His mum was a Christian, Maysoon. And he, in all honesty, he preferred his mum's way of life than anything else. He preferred that, you know, mum used to come from a tribe, they used to live in the deserts, in the natural world. He was far away from this, but now he assumes the helm of the religion of Islam, and now he has a problem. Because he knows Hussein, son of Ali, is revered by all. Some see him as an imam who is designated by God and is infallible.
Okay.
Others see him purely as the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his family. And others see him as someone to respect and nothing more. Now,
Okay.
but he knows that the overall picture of him is that he's revered.
Okay.
He also knows there is a great number of people who despise his father. They know there's a great number of people who despise Imam al-Hussein's father, Imam Ali.
Yes.
And that there's still a feeling that we want to, or we have not let go of Ali and what Ali did to our families at, for example, Badr, or at Jamal, or at Siffin. So Yazid at this stage realizes that I need to get rid of Hussein bin Ali. Abdullah bin Umar, Abdullah bin Zubayr. Abdullah bin Zubayr is a bit loud. Abdullah bin Umar is never going to be on, you know, never going to take a stand. He's going to be in the wayside. But Hussein, son of Ali, is someone who definitely I'm going to have to find a way of getting off my back. And literally he wants him killed. So at the beginning in Medina, he wants him assassinated. And Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam manages to escape from Medina. When he leaves Medina, he goes towards where? Mecca. When he gets to Mecca, now you know by the Kaaba, you can't even, a mosquito you can't even touch.
Wow.
Yazid has given orders that Hussein is to be beheaded.
Even if he's holding on to the Kaaba.
Even if holding on to the
Kaaba.
What Yazid is really highlighting is what his grandfather Abu Sufyan highlighted.
Yeah.
We don't believe in this nonsense religion, and all this wahi is nonsense. His famous lines of poetry.
As he said, yeah.
ليت أشياخي ببدر شهدوا جزع الخزرج من وقع الأسد لا أهلوا واستهلوا فرحا ثم قالوا يا يزيد لا تشل لعبت هاشم بالملك فلا خبر جاء ولا وحي نزل. The same words uttered by a previous poet, he changes by reminding everyone Hashim played with a kingdom. There's no revelation, and none of this news that they give you, it's all nonsense. Yazid had no belief, and he's ready to kill the grandson of the man who brought the religion to people, who saved mankind, who protected the Kaaba, removed it of idolatry. He's now ready to kill Imam Hussein. At the same time, the people of Kufa, having seen the Umayyad governors and their lascivious lifestyle, they're now writing letters and they're saying, we will support Imam al-Hussein in any stand against the corruption of Damascus.
Wow, okay.
When they've sent these letters, they're saying, you come here, you'll find us ready, and we're ready to support you in every way possible. It sounds like their hearts are with him and their swords are with him. But as Farazdaq later on says,
wow,
that sadly sometimes someone's heart is with you, but their swords are
against you.
When Imam al-Hussein sees that these people are looking to support, and they're looking to stand up against an unjust, corrupt Muslim caliphate, you know there are still Muslims out there. There are still Muslims out there who say Yazid, may Allah be pleased with him.
Wow.
There are still Muslims out there.
Yeah.
Because his kingdom is similar to his kingdom. They don't want things to change. It's the similar principles. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, that's when he says that Muslim, go towards Kufa. That's hard for Muslim ibn Aqeel. Firstly, he's ready to submit to the commands of his Imam straight away. But that means you leave your wife Ruqayya, you leave your daughter Hamida, your sons, the likes of, for example, Abdullah or Abdul Rahman or Muhammad or Ibrahim. And you're all so hesitant whether these people are trustworthy or not. In the Maqatil, you'll see just on his way, he still maintains a communication with Imam Hussein saying, are you sure? There's some omens that he sees which make him doubt. That I'm seeing signs which are making me doubt what's going to occur is going to be in our favor. And Imam al-Hussein writes back to him saying, go ahead, go ahead. And when he gets to Kufa, he stays in the house. Some say the son of Awsaja's house, some say Hani's house. I think he stays in the house of Mukhtar al-Thaqafi. Because Mukhtar al-Thaqafi's father-in-law and Nu'man bin Bashir is the governor of Kufa.
Yes.
In Damascus, Yazid hears there's an uprising in Kufa. Yazid has a problem. Number one, Ali ibn Abi Talib's soldiers are all still alive.
Yes.
Hani, Habib, Muslim. He knows that these people have lots of experience.
Although they were old, he's still scared.
Old. In their 50s, 60s, 70s.
Wow.
Yazid had a Roman advisor, used to sit next to him, called Sir John al-Rumi, Sir John the Roman.
Yeah.
Sir John, Yazid looks at him, he says, what should I do? Sir John replies to him with a wonderful reply. A satanic reply, one may argue. He says to him, do you want me to tell you what your father would do if he was still alive? He said, yes. He said, get the son of Ziyad to be governor of Kufa. He's the only man who can handle this. Yazid and Ibn Ziyad's relationship wasn't the best. Ibn Ziyad, hitherto that point, was governor of Basra. Yazid says to him, I'll give you Basra and Kufa. Go to Kufa. When Muslim ibn Aqeel first comes to Kufa, he witnesses that these people are all ready to support Imam al-Hussein, tells Imam al-Hussein, you come.
Yeah.
Ibn Ziyad cleverly enters town, knowing a lot of these people have never met Imam al-Hussein. They know he's coming, but they've never met him.
Wow.
So what's better than entering in the look of Imam al-Hussein,
disguised,
everyone welcoming you, and then slowly disguising yourself and making tracks. And he knew there were certain personalities he's got to be aware of. Hani bin Urwa and the Madhad tribe, huge tribe. Muslim ibn Aqeel knows Ibn Ziyad's in town and has the perfect opportunity to kill Ibn Ziyad at Hani's house. But some narrations mention that while Hani is expecting him to kill Ibn Ziyad, Muslims hesitant. Ibn Ziyad notices something fishy is going on, leaves. Hani asks him why? Why didn't you just kill him? He said, we don't strike someone from the back. That dignity remains. You're going to fight one-on-one, but I'm not going to come from behind.
Wow.
But now, of course, Ibn Ziyad, once he's recognized this, what does Ibn Ziyad do? First thing Ibn Ziyad does is he puts Mukhtar al-Thaqafi and Maytham al-Tammar in prison. Maytham gets executed, Mukhtar remains in prison. Secondly, now please focus on this point. People say, you Shia cry for Imam al-Hussein because you killed him.
Wow.
Because you
killed him.
The term Shia means follower of. You could be Shi'at al-Hussein, Shi'at Ali, Shi'at Abu Sufyan, Shi'at Liverpool. Shia, you could be Shia of anyone. You could be a follower of.
Yeah.
It could be a follower of someone, or you could be a theological follower. What do I mean?
What do you mean by
I could be a Shia of Hussein because Hussein is going to fight Yazid, so I'll support him. But if Ahmed fights Yazid, if Ali fights Yazid, if Zayd fights Yazid, I'll be with them. I'm just a follower of you because I support your cause, not because I believe in your aqa'id position.
Okay.
Or I could be a Shia of Hussein who believes that this is the third of 12 Imams who is chosen by Allah, who's ma'soom. When we say Shi'at al-Kufa, Shi'at al-Hussein fil Kufa, we do not mean all of them in the aqa'idi sense. Some are Shi'at al-Hussein in the sense that, you know what, you're fighting Yazid. If Abdullah ibn Zubair fights Yazid, we're with him. If Abdullah ibn Umar, if Ibn Abbas, if Sahal bin Sa'ad, if they fight Yazid, we're with them. The ones who were Shi'at al-Hussein in the sense of them believing that Imam al-Hussein is the third Imam, Mansoor, Ma'soom, those were either executed or imprisoned, or some managed to reach Karbala, like Habib, like Muslim, like Hur bin Yazid, who converts later on, is a Kufi as well. Yes. So when people come and say, the Shia of Kufa let Imam Hussein down, there was a bloodbath in Kunasa Square. The likes of Abbas al-Jadali and others who were lovers of Imam Hussein in the aqa'idi sense. Not just going to join Imam Hussein because he's fighting Yazid. Oh, we don't like Yazid. Okay, you're fighting him, we're with you. Yeah. No, but in the belief that you are a ma'soom, yes, they were massacred or they were imprisoned. When someone tells me you Shia killed Imam al-Hussein, I replied, Medina and Mecca, what did they do for Imam al-Hussein? Medina and Mecca. Imam al-Hussein had to escape from there because they want to kill him. Yeah. So don't tell me Kufa killed Imam al-Hussein. Kufa was the home of the first Imam, yes, and is the home of the last. At this moment, Ibn Ziyad now recognizes that people have let Muslim down, others have been executed, others have been imprisoned. Now it's time to find Muslim.
Now the only question that remains, why was he betrayed? I mean, was it money for well, some are thousands to give bay'ah, to give allegiance, yet betrayed? Why?
Habibi Ahmed, let's make something clear. We can sit here 1,400 years later and discuss Kufa with never having seen Ibn Ziyad. We all know that this same Iraq has seen Ibn Ziyad's. You can't just come out in the middle of the street and say, hey, you know what, I'll take all you guys on. We saw how a Ba'athi regime here in Iraq massacred people simply because they were praying, not even speaking out against the government.
Yeah.
There's bloodbaths and so on. There were people in Kufa, had Iman, but that last step some did not have the sabr for. There were others who were executed. Yes, I cannot deny there were some who felt such a guilt that later on they were called the Tawwabun. They felt that how could we let Imam al-Hussein down that way? We should have shown more Iman and more sacrifice and more patience. But I don't think it's as easy as some of us make it out when we're sitting in our cozy beds reading a book on the issue. The whole of Kufa was surrounded that you couldn't get out. Habib al-Madahir just about got out.
So
even Habib is in a conversation with his wife who's telling him, what you doing here?
Wow.
So it's not as we presume. Yes, there were some who sadly, their love of this world overtook them. They said, you know what, we'll stay good Muslims. We don't have to get involved. And I love it in our communities. The classic answer when there's an issue, I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting involved. The sitters on the fence are normally the ones with no principles.
Yes.
And yes, Ahl al-Bayt attack them. And Sayyidah Zainab, when she's walking through the streets of Kufa, attacks the people. You sit here while Abu Abdullah was massacred. But there was also many who were massacred from Ibn Ziyad at that time.
Now, many in the Maqatil and historical books, they've written about Muslims ibn Aqeel final moments. And whenever someone recites them, it's always the same. Now, is there something interesting about his final moments?
Well, the irony of this world, 20 years earlier, his uncle used to rule Kufa. Now he's walking in Kufa as a stranger. This is this dunya. Wow. 1 minute it's for you, another minute is against you. And that sad dialogue with Taw'a, it breaks the heart every year when you hear it, wallah. She sees him sitting outside her house. He's got no one to support him. And if ever you wanted to see the definition of Gharib al-Ghuraba, it's Muslim in those moments. Tells her, I'm thirsty. Her daughter keeps staring at him. When she comes out, she sees the daughter seemingly shaken. She's like, did he do something to you? Like, no. He said, why are you shaken? She said, I asked him, who are you? And he said, I'm a stranger in this town. And Taw'a then, when she asks him, who are you? He says, I'm Muslim ibn Aqeel. She goes, are you the nephew of my master?
Wow.
And it breaks her heart. And that lady tries her utmost to protect him, because now Ibn Ziyad sent people out
Looking for him.
looking for him. Eventually her son snitches on him,
Wow.
because there's a healthy reward, a handsome reward. And they come. And you're asking me about these poignant moments. One of the people who leads the group to come and take him
Yeah.
is Imam al-Hassan's brother-in-law, Muhammad, son of al-Ash'ath bin Qais. This is how messed up a lot of these relations are. Mukhtar's father-in-law, Nu'man Bashir, the governor, replaced by Ibn Ziyad. Imam al-Hassan's brother-in-law, Muhammad ibn al-Ash'ath, leads a group of people.
Ju'ada's brother.
Ju'ada's brother. And they come to the house
Yeah.
and they try and fight him. Within a few moments, they're like, you know what, get more people. This is not a greengrocer or a supermarket owner. This is the nephew of Ali and Ja'far. And he's thirsty. And it's as if Allah wanted to reward him by saying, I want you to taste the same end as Abu Abdullah. You love him that much. And truly, in his final words, his only thought is Abu Abdullah. And so, eventually, when a few hundred of them come and surround the house, they strike him every way possible and drag his body on the streets of Kufa. Now, he's taken to Ibn Ziyad and Umar bin Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas. And there's a few concerns when he's taken to the top of the castle of Kufa.
Yeah.
The first one is he has a loan that's outstanding. He says, pay off my debt. Umar bin Sa'ad said, you could forget about it. Ibn Ziyad said, listen, just pay it off. And it goes to show you that don't die in this world without having organized
Yeah.
any debts that you have. He could have easily forgotten about it. I'm going to die a shaheed, I'm going to go to heaven. No. I don't want a longer day of judgment. I don't want to have taken people's money and have no interest in paying it back to them.
Wow.
Thiqah.
Trustworthiness.
Number two, Islamic burial, there's no chance of that. And number three, his thought is with Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Even when he tries to drink the water, the amount of blood from the amount of kicks and punches he's received, the blood fills the water. And these guys, you see ISIS throwing people off buildings? No difference.
The exact same.
These guys, ISIS, all the same. No difference you will find whatsoever. And they throw him off the building. The sadness of all sadness is Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam having to tell his daughter Hamida.
How did he tell her? I mean, how do you tell a small daughter, what was it, 4 years old, 6 years old? How do you tell her that your father just died?
May Allah give us the sabr of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. How many did he have to tell about their deaths?
Wow.
Ramla, Layla, Rabah, Zainab. How many did he have to tell? Dayla. And Imam al-Hussein comes to the daughter, he says, Hamida, know that my daughters are like your sisters. My sons are like your brothers. He had patted her on her head. She said, uncle, has my dad died? Am I an orphan? He's like, how do you know? She says, because when you do that, you know someone's become an orphan. It hurts Sayyidah Zainab, hurts Sayyidah Sukaina, who comes to console her, and I ask, who consoled Sukaina when her dad died? The whips of Shimr bin the Joshan.
Wow.
So those last moments, no doubt, break the heart of every human being. Muslim ibn Aqeel's death really hurt Abu Abdullah.
Yeah.
Akhi wa ibn Ammi. Muslim ibn Am Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Muslim is the cousin of Imam Hussein, uncle's son. But he describes him by saying, Akhi first. He's my brother, my cousin. You know when you've grown up with your cousin for so many years, from childhood, you don't call them your cousin anymore. You're like, bro. Akhi wa ibn Ammi. Wa thiqati min ahl bayti Muslim bin Aqeel.
Now, 1400 years later, when someone wants to go, and for the people who are fortunate enough to go, I know a few days ago you were in Masjid al-Kufa, and you know, to be fortunate enough to go to Masjid al-Kufa, it's a different experience. Now, how important is Masjid al-Kufa?
Oh, Masjid al-Kufa, it's an honor that It has Muslim ibn Aqeel buried in it, and Muslim ibn Aqeel is buried in Masjid Kufa. Masjid Kufa is one of the oldest mosques in the religion of Islam. It's a place visited by the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A place where, you know, mustahab salah is like an umrah, and a wajib salah is like a full salah, is like a hajj if you pray it there. And that Masjid al-Kufa, I recommend for all of our listeners to try and visit and pray there. Pray where Nabi Ibrahim prayed. Pray where Nabi Khidr prayed. Pray where Imam Ali prayed his last prayer before he was struck by Ibn Muljam that night on the 19th of Ramadan.
Yes.
And in Masjid al-Kufa you have buried Mukhtar al-Thaqafi, Hani bin Urwa, Muslim bin Aqeel.
Wow.
So when you're going to Masjid al-Kufa, it's one of the few mosques in Islam where you have the option of full if you're on a journey.
Wow, okay.
And I really recommend our viewers to try and take their sons and their daughters for a one-day tour of Masjid al-Kufa. The amount of history in Masjid al-Kufa is unreal.
Wow.
And it was the central base when Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib's Khilafah was there. It was the central base for the Caliph. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless those who continue to protect Masjid al-Kufa, inshallah.
Now, Sayyidina, we have a couple, 5 minutes, 6 minutes left before the end of the show. So we'll go into the general Q&A, if you will, inshallah. Now, the first question we have, is the situation of time close to Muslims' time? Is it possible, despite of du'as for the Imam of our time, we betrayed him? I don't know.
Well, we all should aim to be, in the same way Muslim was Safir al-Hussein.
Yes.
We should also aim to be the ambassadors of Imam al-Hujjah, Ajalallah Farajah al-Sharif. And I think the fact that people out there are trying to know about their relationship with their Imam shows they're not going to betray. There will be people who will betray the Imam. We have hadiths where certain people will say, Mahdi, go your own way. We have nothing to do with you.
Wow.
And sometimes our betrayal doesn't have to be words. Our lack of akhlaq, the way we use our tongue in obscenities,
yes,
our lack of prayers, our lack of humility, this could be betrayal to the Imam.
Yes.
They say that when you recite a dua and a ziyarah for Imam al-Hussein, the first thing you should say is, oh Allah, hasten the reappearance of Imam al-Hujjah. Some people have an attachment to Imam al-Hussein, and the greatest attachment, but don't forget the Imam of your time. Therefore, in the same way you have a person who was Safir of Imam al-Hussein, known as Muslim ibn Aqeel, we should aim to try and be the best ambassadors for Imam al-Hujjah, Ajalallah Farajah.
Hopefully, inshallah. Now, Zahra Abbas says, I heard that qiyas is forbidden in Islam. What does it mean? Qiyas.
Well, there is a qiyas which is forbidden and a qiyas which is not forbidden. And this we have forthcoming shows to discuss about Islamic law and its development. Ijtihad, for it to be done while the nas is present, is not something that is acceptable. If a person like Abu Hanifa has his own ijtihad while the nas of the words of Imam al-Sadiq are present, the qiyas of Abu Hanifa in reaching a conclusion is not productive when Imam al-Sadiq is there, because number one, Abu Hanifa's knowledge is husuli, Imam al-Sadiq's knowledge is huduri. Husuli is that which is gained from human to human. Huduri is that which is immediate ilham from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's what Imam al-Sadiq says to him. Abu Hanifa, when you're using qiyas, analogy, do you not know the first to use it was shaitan? When he said, you created Adam from clay, you create me from fire, you think I'm going to worship him?
Wow.
You think I'm going to prostrate before him? Abu Hanifa, what's greater, fasting or prayer? Let's use qiyas.
Yeah.
What's greater, prayer or fasting? Use qiyas, use analogical. So he says,
Prayer.
Prayer. He says, why? He says, because if your prayers are all accepted, the Prophet said, if your prayers are accepted, all your other acts are accepted. If your prayers are rejected, all your other acts are rejected. You're not going to find that about fasting. So then Imam al-Sadiq says, how comes a woman has to repeat her fast which she missed because of the menstrual cycle, but not repeat her prayers? Your qiyas is only getting you some level, whereas that ijtihad against the nas cannot happen.
Yeah.
Aisha, wife of the Prophet, if she has ijtihad about the battle of Jamal, and someone says, well, say there was, for example, someone's ijtihad like Aisha or like Umar, ijtihada fa-akhta. When the nas, like a member of the Ahlul Bayt is present, there's no ijtihad. But then there may be a form of qiyas which is acceptable, where a person is using the texts, the principles of the texts, to try and find what is God's law. There are certain methods of reasoning which can lead towards a certain amount of certainty. And that we will discuss when we look at the different forms of deductions and reasonings that we have, which are discussed in the chapters of Usul.
Inshallah, we'll continue. Hopefully we can pick up some time else in a different episode. Inshallah, I would like to thank you very much for joining us tonight. Respected viewers, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow at 12 a.m. Karbala time. I know today we started a bit late and we do apologize for that, but inshallah, tomorrow at 12 a.m. Karbala time, Late Night Talk will be back, so do stay tuned. Have a good night.